New Thought Messengers, good morning. How y'all doing? Oh, let's do that again. How y'all doing? There we are. I even heard you all at home. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the New Thought Center for Spiritual Living. I am Shannon O'Hurley. I get to be your senior minister here, and I am so grateful for this day that love has made. What a blessing it is to be here. We are an inclusive, progressive, and compassionate spiritual community that is dedicated to spirit-led social action in the world, helping to make the world a better place for all people. Speaking of all people, when I say all people, I mean all people are welcome here. All people, all faith paths, everyone, every human is welcome here, just as you are this day. And know that we have mindfully and we have thoughtfully created a place just for you, exactly as you are right now, today. I'm going to get to more of that in a bit. But I want to take a moment, take a deep breath, acknowledge that we are on the land of the Kalapuya people, and we affirm indigenous history, experiences, and sovereignty. I want to also invite all of you to just quickly turn around if you're comfortable and wave to the camera there to let our friends at home, bring them in, let them be here with us in this way. Welcome to all of you who are joining us from all over. So with that, let us take a nice, deep, cleansing breath as I invite our beloved practitioner, Shelley Walker, to come up for our opening blessing.
Thank you, Reverend Shannon. Please join me in a moment of centering, a moment of remembering the truth of the one life, the one love, the one power that is everywhere present. That thing that I call spirit, that thing that I call love divine. It is that thing that animates me. It is that thing that called me into being. It is the thing that I am. And just as this is true of me, it's true of each one here. We are all expressions of divine love and grace on this planet. How good it is to be reminded this day. And so for this time together, I speak a word of absolute gratitude and blessing. How very good it is to be in community this day, whether that means sitting side by side with someone or simply being in the presence of the message and the music and the love from anywhere on the planet. There is this thing that connects us. It is the love that we share. It is the grace that passes all understanding. It's the joy. For this and so much more, I'm deeply, deeply grateful. I speak a word of blessing on this time, on the message, on the music, on the people, on the love. We let it be. Blessed, blessed be. And so it is. Oh, and so we're going to enter our time of spiritual practice. And do you know what the purpose of spiritual practice is? That love, that grace, that peace, that joy that resides in us. It's to access that, to connect with it, and to call it into being, into our bodies and into our lives. And so we're going to do that today through song. This beautiful song, We Let It Be. It's so easy to sing. If you're here in the building, I invite you to stand. Join with us as we sing. It's so easy to learn. Sing what you feel called to sing, but allow the activity of music, of divine music, working through you to access that spirit within and to let it have its way in your body, in your life. We let it be.
We let we let it be. Let the joy, we let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. Let the peace, we let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let the love, we let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
And so it is. I'd like to invite our beautiful practitioner, Laura Schlafly, up to do an inspirational reading for us.
The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty its furniture. Still, teach each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And so it is.
Thank you, Laura. I would now like to introduce our featured artist once again this week. So happy to have her with us. Give it up for Darcy Bradley.
Thank you.
You're not the only one who feels like this, feeling like you lose more than you win. Life is just an endless hill you climb. You try and try, but never right. Well, I'm telling you something, this racing, this running, ooh, you're working working way too hard. And this perfection you're chasing is just energy wasting. 'Cause we love you like you are. So go ahead and live like you love. It's okay to act like you've been set free. This love has made you more than enough. So go ahead and be who you want to be. And live like you love. Live like you love. And live like you love. Live like you love. Live like you know you're valuable. Like you know the one that holds it all. 'Cause Spirit has called you by your name. Don't be afraid to live that grace. Oh, I'm telling you something. This God we believed in, yeah, it changed everything. No more guilt, no more shame. It took all that away. Gave us a reason to sing. So go ahead and live like you love. It's okay to act like you've been set free. This love has made you more than enough. So go ahead and be who you want to be. And live like you love. Live like you love. And live like you love. Live like you love. Live like you love. Walk like you're free. Stand like you know you were made to be. Live like you love, like you believe. This love is all that you'll never need. So live like you love. Ooh, this love has made you more than enough. So go ahead and live like you love. It's okay to act like you're meant to be. It's more than made you more than enough. So go ahead and be who you want to be. And live like you love. Live like you love. And live like you love. Live like you love. You live like you love. Walk like you're free. Stand like you know what you're made to be. And live like you love, like you believe. This love is all that you'll never need. So live like you love. Thank you.
Darcy Bradley. Darcy Bradley, thank you so very much. Live like you're loved. How about that? Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to just, speaking of living like you're loved, I forgot to mention in the beginning, those of us who do not have masks on up here, we tested negative this morning. I just want to make sure you all who are here for the first time, you know that that's what we do, and I appreciate so very much you wearing masks, because there are those of us up here on the platform who have immunocompromised and medically fragile people that we care for. So thank you. Thank you. Live like you're loved. Whoa! Okay. So, my talk today is called Becoming Present. Becoming Present. So, as some of you know, I have been moving here into Lake Oswego this past week. Very exciting. Yes, it is. I'm thrilled, from Westland to here. And, moving. What a joy, said no one ever. I will tell you the joy of this experience, though, has been having our daughter Liv here with me. She flew in from Wyoming as sort of an early birthday time, and also a time to help me move and a time to help me paint. We did a ton of painting in the house prior to when the movers arrived. And I will tell you, on day 3, I believe it was, of painting, I was in the bathroom and I was up on a stepladder and I'm painting, trim, and I had it all taped off. And as happens, whenever I have a talk coming up, things sort of pop in throughout the week, stories and ideas, and they just sort of drop in, quotes, things like that. And when they come in, I always kind of stop and I want to reflect on it and really remember it and hold it to share it with you. And I was up there painting and, thinking about becoming present, and these ideas were all popping into my head, and then I sort of came to and I realized that I had completely gone outside of the lines, and I ran down the step ladder and I got a wet rag, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing a talk on becoming present, and I'm not doing a very good job at being present in this moment. Anyone? We try to be present and all we can do is think of the shiny squirrel or start painting outside of the lines. It happens to all of us. I wanted to start there. This idea of becoming present to our lives. There's many, I teach a lot of classes on mindfulness and different ways to be present. There's lots of ways to look at this. But before I do that, I want to place in the center of this conversation, I want to actually start with the spiritual truth, which is the truth of this entire talk, the truth of this entire conversation that we're having here, is that you and I, each one of us, come from love. We come from love, and we come here, we incarnate here to be that love. That's it, And this love, call it God, call it spirit, quantum consciousness, the ultimate reality, the I am that I am, whatever word works for you. The Alpha, the Omega, and everything in between. That is the love I'm talking about. That's what we talk about here. When we talk about God, we are not talking about an old dude in the sky with a long beard who is rather moody. That's not the God that we understand. The God that we understand here, the higher power that we understand here, is pure love. No judgment. No good behavior awards, bad behavior, punishment, no guilt, no damnation, no fire. None of that is of God. None of that is of love. And none of that is in the conversation whenever we speak of God or Spirit here. It is only love. All of it comes from love. We someday will return to this love. And like every great tradition, every great faith tradition across millennia has taught, we are of this spirit. We are God's stuff. As the scientists teach us, we are of stardust, every single one of us. And when we become fully present with ourselves and with one another, we are able to catch a glimpse of that love. We see it in moments of human connection. You know what I'm talking about. Those moments when you connect with another human being. Happens for me a lot with babies and with animals and Mother Nature. We've all experienced that. That is when we are fully present, we experience the divine to a great and magnified degree as human beings. So how can we do more of that? How can we get more of that in our lives? More of that, less crap. Anyone? Okay. All right. Now, realizing that we are all of God, we too are human. In this earth, there is crap. And what we teach here is that God, love, the divine, is at the center of all of it, especially our humanness and our human frailty. So for a moment, I want to invite you to think about and gently notice, just gently notice an aspect of your personality, your human personality, the crap that you don't like. Just pick one thing. I know. Really? Just one? Okay. Pick one thing about yourself that you don't like. We all have them. We are all here being humans in this world of spirit, in this school of life. Just pick something. Maybe you have a tendency to be critical or to gossip, or maybe to avoid challenges. Maybe you're particularly hard on yourself. Whatever it is, whatever's coming up for you right now, that's what's wanting to be noticed. Just gently notice that. Notice that aspect of yourself. And now I invite you to notice how that aspect of yourself, and let's call it the current aspect that is ready to be transformed, how does that aspect of your personality keep you from connecting to others? How does it keep you from that spark of connection that I was just talking about? Can you feel into that? Can you see how whatever that thing is creates a barrier? It creates separateness between you and yourself or you and another person. Are you following? Right? Okay. Now, take a deep breath. And let's lovingly set that aspect just gently aside. Just gently aside. It's going to stay right there. We're going to come back to it. The great poet Mary Oliver wrote, "Said the river, I am part of holiness. And I too, said the stone. And I too, whispered the moss beneath the water. Said the river, I am part of holiness. And I too, said the stone. And I too, whispered the moss beneath the water." We often, automatically, without even thinking about it, label the moss beneath the water as not quite as holy as all the beautiful things. Ever notice that we do that? You know what I'm talking about? The thing is, the slimy, gross moss at the bottom of a river can be really yucky, but it's just as holy as the clear running water and the ancient majestic stones, isn't it? Right? In fact, the entirety of the whole river, all of its parts, even the bugs and the slugs and the icky stuff, isn't it all holy? Because it is all of God, of divine, of spirit, of source. And that is what we teach, right? That it's all holy. Now, the slimy moss may not be pleasant, but it's certainly not separate from the divinity of Mother Nature. Logic follows, then, that the mossy parts of us, or the aspects of ourselves that we don't particularly like, must also be included as holy. We teach that everything at its core, whether it knows it or not, is divine. In her poem, Mary Oliver writes that the moss beneath the water acknowledges that it's loved too, but here's the thing. Unlike the beauty of the river and the majesty of the stones, the icky moss that lives beneath the water manages in her poem to whisper that it's holy. This is so achingly brave, isn't it? We are being called to be achingly brave with our stuff. Yes. We don't like to acknowledge our messy stuff. Now I will call it our mossy stuff. But we don't. We don't like to acknowledge it. At best, on a good day, we may manage to eke out a whisper that our shadowed, mossy parts deserve to be included in the whole holy, we are all God thing, we are all of God thing. But in doing so, in doing that, that would require what? Dun, 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 self-love. Yes, that again. When we can, like Darcy just sang so beautifully, live like we are loved, like all of us is loved, when we can be present to all the parts of ourselves and still even then recognize, or perhaps a better word is remember, the holy in all of it. When we can take a breath and recognize that there is holiness at the center of that thing, underneath it, underneath that thing is love. Just waiting to be presenced in your life. There is a holiness at the center of everything. And sort of taking a breath and realizing this, recognizing that there is this holiness at the center of all things. It gives us greater permission to be present to it, and then the mossy parts of us become less scary. Because these parts of us are often scary. We don't like them. We don't want to show them. Oftentimes we have shame when we behave in unskilled ways, right? So, taking this and connecting it in many, many sacred places all throughout Asia, just as you approach an entrance to a temple, the holiest of the holies, the holiest of the holy places, before you get inside that sanctuary, you will notice that surrounding the entrance to the temple are scary and often ominous statues that surround the entrance. I talked about this very briefly like 2 years ago in a talk, and I want to unpack it even more. So you literally have to pass through the doorway of some very terrifying looking statues and artwork. Inside there is a temple. What? What? Are you kidding me right now? You have to walk through that. Inside there is a temple. Are you kidding me right now? For what it's worth, I don't think that would help attendance here in Lake Oswego. In the ancient world, those scary-looking warrior deities were originally designed and intended to repel or to keep away evil spirits. The ancient world believed in evil spirits. And I think for us, our understanding here in New Thought is there isn't anything evil out there that is going to ever get you. Ever. There is no hell except for a hell of our own making. Right here. Because, as I established earlier, spirit, this air we breathe is benevolent, it is loving, it is on our side, and we are at free will to choose, to make decisions about what we are going to do with this life, with our stuff. Are we going to look at it and heal it, or are we going to bury it and feel shame around it? Which leads to a hell of our own making, which leads to things like unskilled behavior, addiction, all kinds of challenges. And what I love so much about this metaphor with these scary looking images at the front of a sanctuary is that really, if you think about it, we have stuff at the periphery of the living temple that we are always invited to step into. Are you following me? This stuff is the same as what is around those temples. And it prevents us from living fully into our possibility and into our life. Do you see? Yes, yes, yes. These unexamined places within ourselves keep us from fully entering the temple of unconditional love for ourselves and for others. And if we are not present to or compassionate with these shadowed parts of ourselves, our moss at the bottom of the river, we can't fully enter into the totality of becoming present and entering the temple, the sacred holy place within us. It's not a place out there. It's a place in here. We come to this sanctuary to be reminded every week that we carry this temple out into the world with us. Spiritual maturity requires that we not ignore the mossy parts. Quite the opposite. Now, let's go back. I invite you to once again just gently notice that aspect of your personality that you don't like, that you chose earlier, that you would like to change or transform. Consider allowing that moss to surface to the top and to be transformed. But here's the thing in doing this, my friends. Here is the thing that often we don't want to hear. Healing happens in connection with others. You can bring this up and you can look at it, but to heal it, it cannot happen in isolation. Anyone who is involved in any way with any of the 12-step programs knows this. We have a lot of 12-steppers who find us because we are a group of like-minded spiritual community that support each other's journey. We can't heal in isolation. Now, this would require what? This would require that we share with someone this thing. Oh no. Really? Yeah. If you really, really want to heal it, it requires that we share it. Now, if the thought of sharing this in any way makes you feel defensive, if you notice just that moment when I said that you kind of had little pricklies coming up, like, oh, I want to do it on my own. I'm fine to do it on my own. Thank you very much. If that defensiveness comes up or resistance comes up, and you want to push it back down, this defensiveness, like, no, I don't want to touch that. Thanks, Rev Shannon. See ya. If that's coming up for you, know that that's very human. That's a very common response to this. And if that's what's coming up for you, that's okay. Just take a breath. And I invite you to consider something that Byron Katie said that helps with this. She said, defense is the first act of war. Yup. Defense is the first act of war. When we show up defended, that inner state that keeps us from becoming present, when we show up defended, we are shut down right out the gate. We can't become present. An awareness tool for you, the next time you notice that you are being defensive in any conversation, I invite you to anchor this moment, take a breath, and realize in that moment, just remember that defensiveness is an act of war on your part. It's an act of war against yourself. And I can tell you from experience that this awareness this spiritual tool of just recognizing that is often enough to soften your posture and to allow love in. If you are a person who notices that you are defensive a lot, realize that is an act of war against yourself, and no peace will come of it. Just breathe and allow your edges to soften. My friends, I invite you to become present to all the parts of yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, so that you can become fully present and you can enter the temple of your life. So this brings the question, how good are you at naming your stuff with another person? It's so healthy. It's so healthy to do. And we live in a society that doesn't teach us to do this. And I will tell you, it is not easy at first, especially if you have shame around it, which most folks do. When we name something, just know that I do this with a person you trust. This isn't a casual thing. You know, name your thing, share your thing with someone you trust, or it could be a practitioner or a therapist. And once we name it, we pop the power out of it. See what I mean? It's like a balloon, and it no longer has power over us. We set it free. This doesn't have to be a big, huge thing. If you're not practiced in shining the light on your messy, mossy stuff, start small. It could be as simple as saying to a trusted friend something like, I notice myself doing that thing again. I'm really working on that, and golly, I caught myself, I'm going to do better next time. That's it, right? You can start there and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Brene Brown wrote, if we share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame can't survive. If we share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame can't survive. Giving yourself the gift of releasing the shame around the thing allows you to become fully present to yourself and others. I invite you to try that this week. See what happens. Again, start small. I'm not asking you to bare your soul to someone unless you want to do that. But this is a spiritual tool. I'm inviting you to share one thing this week with someone you trust, something you're ready to release, so that you can step into your temple. And in the process, you become more present to your soul. And when you become more present to your soul, you are more present to God, to the divine. Now, becoming present, my friends, is a revolutionary act. Make no mistake. Becoming present is a revolutionary act. All the great spiritual teachers across time have taught this. Jesus of Nazareth, Muhammad, peace be upon him. I say that to honor any Muslims listening or watching. They all taught this. The Buddha, they all taught this. Being present, being fully awake to what is and to what is emerging is an act of revolution. This is an act of revolution. It is not to be taken lightly. Most people go through their life with a lot of moss that they refuse to look at, and it shows up in toxic ways. Yes, are you following? So to do this work is an act of spiritual revolution. An original meaning for the word revolution is an instance of great change in affairs. That's what revolution is, an instant of great change in affairs. We think of mindfulness, of being present, as a very quiet thing. And oh my goodness, yes, it can be gloriously quiet. But it can also be powerfully loud. There was nothing quiet about the teachings of the Buddha or Jesus of Nazareth or Muhammad, peace be upon him. They were revolutionaries. The Buddha taught that enlightenment was meant for all of us, not just the chosen few. revolutionary for the time. Revolutionary. Jesus of Nazareth, in his very first sermon, Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, he said to ordinary folks, just like you and me, it was unheard of. He said to ordinary folks, you are the light of the world. He brought that revolutionary idea that God, Spirit, love works through us. Totally bad. There are kids here. Totally revolutionary. Right? Muhammad, peace be upon him, brought to Islam social and economic justice. One of the 5 pillars of Islam is to pay alms or to give money to those in need. This was the ancient world's social assistance program. He also established the very first, the earliest laws that supported women to be able to divorce and own property. I want to be very clear, the Muslim faith is a very different thing than the Islamic State in some Arab countries. 2 totally different things. But all of these teachers, and then all of the saints and the mystics and the spiritual teachers through time, taught that when we are present, when we work on this stuff, when we're able to release it, when we are present, we can receive, because the water is clear, we can receive guidance for revolutionary ideas that change the world for better. But we must start small. We are all here to experience enlightenment, to be the light of the world, so that we can lift up those in need. This is the mission. So, this week, I invite you to remember your divinity. Notice what part of you is keeping you from entering the temple of your life. And in an act of revolutionary love, share that with someone you trust so that you can release that mossy shame and live the life that Spirit wants for you. Let's pray. I invite you to take a deep breath. I invite all the practitioners to come forward, please, and join me in prayer. So taking in a deep breath. What a blessing it is to be in this holy place. What a blessing it is to know that this one divine Spirit that I call love, called by so many names, this love that woke us up this morning, this love that is sitting to our left and to our right, in front of us, behind us, above us, below us, this love that is the air we breathe, is for us. It is beckoning us to enter the living temple of the divine. And what a blessing it is to know that each one of us here is being called to do just that, to become present to any of the mossy stuff within us so that we can heal it, so that we can live free, and that we can be empowered to support others to do the same. Oh, what a blessing it is to get to do this holy and sacred work, to become present, to be ambassadors of this light that we came from and that we will return to. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for this life. I'm so grateful for this teaching. I allow in this moment all of our loved ones, our friends, our family to be surrounded with this same light, the same love, blessing them. And in this moment, I bless all people who gather everywhere in mosques and churches and temples and synagogues and ashrams and circles and yoga mats and living rooms and prayer vigils and marches, recognizing that we are all part of this one human family and that we are all here for the same thing, to love and to be loved. And so in this oneness, I give thanks, profound thanks for this and so much more. I allow it to be, and so it is. Blessed be. Amen. Let's all take a deep breath. Thank you.
Whew. This is our time of conscious giving. And you know, I was in spiritual economics class this week, and I asked, what's your favorite thing about the center? And two things were said over and over and over again. The music, led by our wonderful music director, Brian Harris. And the other thing that was said over and over again is that Reverend Shannon walks her talk. I tell you this because every single one of us, you and I, walked in the doors of this building or turned on YouTube today because we needed something in our life. It might have been a message. It might have been knowing that just showing up, we would hear a message that tells us that we're worth something, that we're loved. Maybe it was that we needed to hear Darcy Bradley sing today. I always need to hear Darcy Bradley sing. We all showed up because we were looking for something that we find here in this community. I love that. And I love that each of us is also responsible for making sure that this community is here week after week, month after month, year after year. And we do that by contributing financially. We do that by helping to make sure that Brian Harris is able to pay an amazing band to be here today. And we do that by making sure that our programs are fully funded. So whatever is yours to give today to support that activity, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart because I needed this today. And so your gift was a gift for me. Thank you. And I know that my gift is also being paid forward, going forward, and making this possible for the next person. So there are many ways that you can contribute. We'll be passing our baskets here. You can go online, newthoughtcsl.org/give. You can text to give, 503-966-3236. You set it up once, it's there in your little texter forever. It's so easy and wonderful. But whatever you give today, know it's received with grace, with gratitude, and with love. Let's speak a word of blessing on our gift. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And now, Darcy Bradley.
Maybe you're not like me, maybe we don't agree, maybe that doesn't mean we gotta be enemies. Maybe we just get brave, take a big leap of faith, call it a truce, me and you can find a better way. Let's take some time, open our eyes, look and listen. We're gonna find a world more alike than we are different, yeah. So why does kindness seem revolutionary? When did we let love get so ordinary? Let's turn it around, flip the script, judge slow, love quick. God help us get a revolutionary. Voices out, 'cause I believe that you and me can find some common ground. Maybe it's not like you, but I walk a mile in your shoes if it means that I might see the world the way you do. Just take a time, open your eyes, think and listen. gonna find a woman we like, but we are different. Yeah. So why does kindness seem revolutionary? Why did we let rag get so ordinary? Turn it around, flip the script, love grow, love quick. Why did it be revolutionary? Oh, revolutionary. Whoa, let's get, whoa, revolutionary. Whoa, so why does kindness seem revolutionary? When did we let hate get so ordinary? Turn it around, flip the script, love slow, love quick. God help us get revolutionary. Whoa, revolutionary. Whoa, let us, whoa, revolutionary. God help us get revolutionary.
The amazing Darcy Bradley, everyone. Isn't she marvelous? I love her. I love her. Thank you. Thank you, Brian Harris. Thank you, band. You're wonderful. I have 3 really quick announcements for you. We have our new member orientation next Sunday, August 14th, from 12:30 to 1:30 West Coast time. It's just an hour. It's both in person and online. So if you're new or newish, please come and learn more about who we are and what we do. This will be facilitated by the one and only Reverend Shannon. So please make sure you sign up ahead of time if you're available to. We have tables here outside and also online on the site. You have one more opportunity to register for our summer class, which is spiritual economics. So we have 5 more weeks. This class is happening on Mondays through September 5th from 6:30 to 8:30 West Coast time. We slashed the price on this. We cut off $70 off of our usual price. The tuition's only $125 for this summer class. It's online only. You can do it in your jammies. I don't mind because I'm facilitating it. And I see so many of our wonderful students here, and I know that several are watching us online because we literally have students from Washington to Mexico, all over the place. So wherever you are, this is a great class. It's a phenomenal group and you would really enjoy it. This is your last chance to sign up. We did record last week, so we can send you a recording so you don't miss anything, and I really encourage you to do this. I'm really excited about this one, Reverend Shannon. Our fall community-wide retreat is coming up. It is called Stepping into the Sacred. It's going to be a weekend of spiritual practices, connection, and joy. Listen. Whatever it is, the story that you're telling yourself about why you can't come, I invite you to start asking yourself, how can I go to this retreat? Because the one and only Jamie Lula will be providing music for us. Y'all, it's going to be amazing, and you're going to want to be there with us. We are going to have so much fun. It's selling out fast. Space is limited, but just $75 holds your space. All of the information's on our website. Please consider joining us. We are going to have such a good time. Reverend Shannon.
Okay. Spirit in the house, Jamie Lula. Oh, I'm so excited to work with him. All right. I want to take a moment and thank all of you who are here. Thank you so much for being here, for choosing to be here this day with each other in community. This is where growth happens. Thank you for those of you who have chosen to be online with us. Today we have folks watching from Florida, Nevada, Colorado, California, Oregon, Mexico. Mwah. Thank you for being here. I want to take a moment and invite you all to please stand, invite the practitioners forward. Know that we have prayer here directly following service. You can just come up to one of the practitioners. Come on down, practitioners. Come on down so that folks can see you. They're the ones wearing the stoles, and they will pray with you. They will affirm with you. If anything going on in your life, come on to one of them, and they will support you. Also online, we have practitioners online that you can, in the chat, there's the information of where to go, and we have a private chat room with a practitioner there for you as well. So, With that, let us say our closing blessing. Shelley Walker, come on over here with me. Let's do this together, my love. So, may you go in the light, as the light, and with the light until we meet again. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. You are loved. Mwah.
I release, I let go.